Thank you, madam. Come on in, yeah. There we go. As the former U.S. ambassador to Germany, I always have to apologize when I'm late, so please forgive us, having spent years in the country where the trains run on time. Incredibly honored to be here today. Good afternoon, everyone. It is wonderful to be joined this morning by two great friends of mine and of ours, tried and true American heroes, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, God bless you. And Captain Mark Kelly. We were most recently with my wife Tammy last night at the Hall of Fame inductions, and I was 30 seconds into a very specific conversation with Mark's brother Scott until he redirected me back toward Mark. I was meeting Scott for the first time in those 30 seconds. So our administration is committed to regaining New Jersey's standing as the home of common sense gun safety laws. And I know that Gabby and Mark and the entire Giffords Courage organization are ready to help us get there. We cannot thank you enough for being here. We have a terrific and incredibly impressive group of folks with us today. Former Governor Jim Florio is right before me. Governor, great to have you. Former Supreme Court Chief Justice Jim Zizali is in the house. Honored. Former Speaker of the General Assembly, another dear friend, Joe Roberts. Roy, Joe, great to have you with us today. Current Majority Leader in the Assembly and a leader in the great movement we've made legislatively on common sense gun safety, Lou Greenwald's with us. I don't know where we would be without her. Congresswoman, the one and the only Bonnie Watson Coleman is in the house. There are many representatives, moms, and Brady campaign and other folks. I know that he's here today as a friend of Bill's, and I'll get to Bill in a minute. Brian Miller, formerly of Ceasefire New Jersey, is here today. And importantly, where's Mark? Mark Barden is with us. God bless you, Mark. lost his son, the blessed Daniel, in the Sandy Hook tragedy. And you have been an extraordinary advocate with great passion, and it's an incredible honor that you would be here today in Daniel's memory. God bless you, man. Thank you. I'm excited for the Senate to return next month and to take action on the 6 bills awaiting votes on final passage. I just met with Senate President Sweeney, and that is on track. Among those bills are measures to expand background checks, to include private gun sales, to lower magazine capacity. Lou and I were just having that conversation with Mark based on the experience of what just happened in Nashville. You could see the impact that can have, just making somebody have to reload, to statutorily clarifying and tightening our handgun carry law, and to ensuring that individuals deemed a threat to themselves or others don't have access to a gun. I know I'm probably wearing out the term common sense gun safety laws, but well, that is exactly what these measures will be. I know, as Gabby and Mark do, that we can have common sense gun safety laws that are fully respectful of the Second Amendment. We need more of this way of thinking. We also know that gun violence takes more than an emotional toll on our communities. It has a real economic toll as well. As Gabby and Mark recently reported, gun violence costs our economy approximately $1.2 billion annually and directly costs taxpayers nearly $275 million. We can and we must do better. And I know, like many of you, I've had enough of this us versus them talk on guns. New Jersey is going to prove that we can move as one to make our entire state safer and to prove that smart, comprehensive gun safety laws do much more to improve our communities and keep them free of gun violence than the guns on every street corner thinking of the gun lobby. I see Nancy Erica Smith, by the way, back there, and I want to also give you a shout out for all your support here. We know the people of New Jersey are with us, whether they live in a community that has experienced the pain and anguish of gun violence, or they want to make sure they never have to experience it. They voted for us and for a Democratic legislature in part because of our belief in common sense gun safety laws, and we will deliver for them. Even more importantly, we're working to make sure our efforts work. And today, with Gabby and Mark here and so many others, I'm proud to say that we're going to have an additional backstop overseeing our work, both here and through the States for Gun Safety Partnership that we recently founded. And in that respect, I am incredibly honored to announce that Bill Kastner will be joining our administration as Senior Advisor to the Governor on firearms. Bill, welcome aboard, buddy. God bless you. As it is for the Murphys, this is a team sport for the Kastners. His wife Georgette is here, as well as his parents, Bill and Diane. Bill needs no introduction, and here I go, I'll give you one, just notwithstanding having said that. He served as chief counsel to the governor, as executive director and counsel in the legislature. In fact, I met him when he was working, Joe, with you many, many years ago, I think going on 12 or 14, and as a leader in the corporate world. He's respected in the State House and in the public sector as smart, determined, and results-driven. He's been a friend and advisor to me on a host of issues, and we share a strong bond to keep our community safe from gun violence. Bill has particularly deep experience in gun issues, having spearheaded New Jersey's One Gun a Month law, having represented gun violence advocates as an attorney in private practice, and having served as a commissioner on New Jersey's highly respected State Commission of Investigation. He will be the nexus for our administration's efforts working across and among departments to oversee our gun violence prevention initiatives. Bill will make sure we are properly tracking our progress and will help coordinate New Jersey's participation in the States for Gun Safety Coalition, bringing a unique voice and viewpoint to the multi-state effort to stop the flow of illegal guns and to ensure that we're taking the right regional approaches to protect all of our residents, both in New Jersey and outside of our borders. In fact, I think we have a States for Gun Safety working group meeting coming up in a couple of days here in Trenton with all the states represented. Bill will also help us identify potential new innovative partnerships and efforts to prevent gun violence, such as working with Gabby and Mark on impact litigation and urban gun violence, and with so many of the other organizations represented today. New Jersey will stand up to the gun lobby and fight for a safer state, and we will work to prevent gun violence in the cities and neighborhoods most impacted by this senseless epidemic. We hope that in having a single point of confluence for all of our gun safety efforts, we will be a model for our nation on smart policy and smarter programs. This is, all of us together, is how we win the battle against gun violence. We win with strong leaders like Gabby and Mark, speaking to our better angels and best interests. And we win with people like Bill, keeping us on task and focused. But we also win by proving that common sense gun safety laws and safer communities go hand in hand. It is now my high honor to introduce a true American hero, one of our nation's strongest and most influential voices in the fight against gun violence, and the pride of West Orange, New Jersey, Captain Mark Kelly.
Thank you, Governor. It's always great to be back in New Jersey, where I grew up. My brother and I, Scott Kelly, we had the honor of being at the New Jersey Hall of Fame for an event last night. We had a great time. It's great to see the governor, but I have to say it was really great to see Bruce Springsteen. Just one more time. That was really awesome, and it's great to be here with all of you. Gabby and I, we do a lot of events like this, but the best events are when the Moms Demand Action people show up. We love the moms, and it's great to have Mark here with us, Mark Barden, who we've become very close with since we started our organization following the shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in December of 2012. That's how Gabby and I got involved with this issue. It wasn't her getting injured. That did lead to Gabby leaving Congress and me leaving the astronaut office, but it was the horrific event on that day in Newtown, Connecticut that got us focused more on this issue and trying to do something about it. This issue makes our country stand out in the worst of ways. And this week is the week following the gun lobby's annual convention. It was in Dallas this year. And, it's a group of people that, want guns, more guns in more places. And a group that feels that our gun laws don't matter. And all evidence indicates exactly the opposite. The states that have stronger gun laws have significantly less gun violence. States like New Jersey and New York and Massachusetts are generally safer than states that don't have a lot of gun laws. But New Jersey and these other states, they deal with, some serious problems with gun trafficking and urban gun violence and, others. This is a complicated issue. It's not one reason why. We have 20 to 25 times the death rate from gun violence than any other industrialized nation. It's for a lot of different reasons. And that's why last year, Gabby and I spent a good amount of time campaigning with Governor Phil Murphy and with Tammy to make sure that New Jersey, the place where I'm from, has the leadership that it needs to solve this and so many other problems. Governor Murphy ran on a strong platform of gun violence prevention. As a candidate, he displayed an unwavering commitment to stand up to the corporate gun lobby and take bold actions to reduce gun violence in the Garden State. And since taking office, he has continued to demonstrate that same courage and leadership that he showed during the campaign in his first 100 days in office. So really quick, Governor Murphy has elevated this issue to the highest level in an unprecedented way, creating a bipartisan, it's always important, bipartisan, multi-state coalition, appropriating funds for gun violence research, strengthening New Jersey's concealed carry permitting standards, signing an executive action, an executive order to help combat gun trafficking, which is a major issue here in the Garden State, and also pledging to sign a package of bills that's currently moving through the state legislature. And now, with the appointment of a senior advisory on firearms on this issue, the state of New Jersey is poised to become a national leader on this issue and take this state in the right direction. For the past 8 years, I got to say, it's been a struggle here in the state of New Jersey on this issue. Gabby knows this, has dealt with this directly here in New Jersey, but we're about to get this on the right track. And to have Bill Kastner joining the governor to lead the nation in identifying new and groundbreaking measures that will continue to prevent gun violence and save lives in here in New Jersey is really paving the way for the rest of the country. So Gabby and I are excited about that. Bill, as a longtime leader here in New Jersey and someone whom we've had the pleasure of working with in the past, we know that with his experience and his policy expertise, he's going to help lead this administration to help improve the gun laws here in the state of New Jersey. So our organization, Giffords Courage to Prevent Gun Violence, we're really excited about this partnership with Governor Murphy and with Bill, and to take this on as a public-private partnership and doing some pretty unique things. We have an organization called the Giffords Law Center that has partnered with law firms around the country to start what we call an impact litigation program, which is taking the fight on this issue to the courts when we have to. And we formed this organization called the FACT Coalition, that is a coalition of law firms, along with the Giffords Law Center, and now here the state of New Jersey, partnering with dozens of attorneys from some of the most powerful law firms in the country to bring unprecedented legal resources to the legal fight on this issue. And our coalition is excited to put these resources of the private bar to work behind Governor Murphy and Bill and the administration here. Some of the best lawyers in this country on this issue is going to be working on this here in New Jersey. So over the coming months, you're going to see action on this. We are really excited about this, and it's going to have a great impact. And I think other states are going to see and are going to want to be part of this. You know, we've studied this issue for a number of years now, and we know what works and we know what doesn't. And it's an exciting time. Governor Murphy pointed out the cost of $1.2 billion, the indirect cost on this issue. That $1.2 billion cost, that's just here in the state of New Jersey, where the taxpayer is also impacted to the tune of over $200 million every single year in this state. Nationwide, this issue costs us probably hundreds of billions of dollars. We don't know. It's hard to find out exactly what it is because under the current administration in the White House and Congress for so many years, we've been prevented from doing research on this issue. But that's going to change too. And that's going to change because my wife, Gabby, is one tough cookie. She doesn't give up. She's been working on this issue now for 5 years. But as a member of Congress, you know, she knew that the way to get things done is in a bipartisan manner as much as possible. So we're going to work on that here in New Jersey. And Gabby just wants to share some of her thoughts on this issue and where we're going. Gabby Giffords, everybody.
Stopping gun violence takes courage. The courage to do what's right, the courage to do ideas. I've seen great courage when my life was on the line. Now is the time to come together, be responsible. Democrats, Republicans, everyone. We must never stop fighting. Fight, fight, fight. Be bold, be courageous. The nation's counting on you. Thank you very much.
Bill, that's not too hard an act to follow, right? Holy cow. Mark and Gabby, thank you again, not just for being here today, for your support, but for everything you do. God bless you both. Thank you. Without any further ado, I want to introduce a guy who I've known a lot of years, who I have enormous respect for across a whole range of interests, but there's no one who understands guns, common sense gun safety laws in this state better than Bill Kastner. Bill?
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for admitting the only reason you came to Jersey was to be on stage with Springsteen. We know that. That's okay. It's a really tremendous ceremony last night.
That happens every night in New Jersey.
So congratulations to you and Scott on that honor. Governor, I bet you agree with me on this. When I was growing up, my heroes were on baseball cards, but my heroes today are here. In this room, we have the most prominent gun violence prevention advocates in modern United States history. You heard from Governor Murphy on Congresswoman Giffords and Mark and their tireless efforts and their incredible staff. Adam and Nico are here as well. Governor Florio, who received the JFK Profiles in Courage Award for helping spearhead the nation's strongest assault weapons ban. Mark Barden, co-founder and managing partner of Sandy Hook Promise, who lost Daniel on December 14th, 2012. Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, who 2 years ago staged a sit-in, teamed up with Congressman Lewis and staged a sit-in, a historic sit-in on the floor of Congress, because in the wake of the Orlando mass shootings, Congress wouldn't even take up legislation to prohibit those on a terrorist watch list from purchasing dangerous firearms. Here in New Jersey, Chief Justice Azali, former Attorney General, who's looked at this issue from a criminal justice perspective, also former chairman of the SCI, Speaker Roberts, who spearheaded it, One Gun a Month, and other important initiatives as Speaker, Majority Leader Greenwald, who's picked up the mantle and feels so passionately about this issue and has advanced the important legislative reforms that the governor referred to. Senator Weinberg, who is not here on the Senate side, has been a true champion. Brian Miller, Moms Demand, Million Moms, all the great advocates in the room, thanks to my family and my grandmother's here, Governor, as well. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. This was an unexpected surprise.
Hello, Grandma. I'm sorry about that. God bless you.
Maureen O'Flaherty was the maiden name, so pretty safe Irish supporter, that's for sure. And my other friends and members of my Horizon family who came today. In my view, for an organization as reputable as Giffords and the Giffords Law Center to attach national significance to today's announcement underscores the following. Number one is the man holding the office of the governor of the state of New Jersey. Governor Murphy campaigned on and has delivered on making gun violence prevention a top priority. He has elevated gun violence prevention as a paramount issue here in New Jersey and recognizes it for the epidemic that it is. In stark contrast to Washington, Governor Murphy has demonstrated his commitment in his first 100 days alone for the accomplishments that Mark recited. I mean, that is arguably more activity than has occurred in Washington in roughly 24 years. I want to thank the governor's staff for their strong commitment to this initiative, particularly Chief of Staff Pete Camarano, who has worked on gun violence prevention issues for over 20 years, and Chief Counsel Matt Placken, who really drove this home and made this initiative a reality. Number two, the promise of unprecedented public-private partnerships, as Mark referenced, to combat gun violence. You know, it's no secret that opponents of common sense gun safety measures are highly financed, highly organized, and highly innovative in terms of their agenda. And I think that underscores the significance of partnering with organizations like Giffords Law Center and their hospital-based intervention programs, the prospect of partnering with Sandy Hook Promise and their education-based violence intervention programs. We need strength in numbers as we address this issue. And then finally, the scope and scale of the work itself as discussed with the governor and the governor's senior staff. Beyond having a senior level position to help coordinate all the positive initiative the governor has already launched, there are specific categories I'd like to zero in on. Mark referenced impact litigation, bringing the full force of the state of New Jersey against unscrupulous manufacturers, distributors, and retailers. There is broad federal immunity for the gun industry that happened in Washington, but I can say authoritatively that New Jersey can pursue aggressive actions against bad actors, and all I can say on that front is please stay tuned. Corporate engagement, thank you. Corporate engagement on this issue. You know, it's really remarkable in the wake of Parkland what the youth activism movement has sparked and the immediate reaction, and in my view, a very positive reaction by members of the business community. And I think we have to localize that and double down on that. I think we need to be even more aggressive in the examination of our purchasing power to effectuate market behavior. As the governor and Mark said, build off the legislature's efforts and go even further. And I think we have to look at expanding divestiture. I think we have to evaluate for the governor our dealings with institutions that directly or indirectly promote firearms. And regulatory review. In today's digital age, I think it's extremely important to take a look at, especially with internet firearm sales, and the attempt to do an end around some of New Jersey's strong statutory and regulatory protections. We need a comprehensive regulatory review as well for improvements. It's clear that sitting back and hoping Washington addresses this crisis is not a prudent course of action. New Jersey needs to lead the way on gun violence prevention as it always has. We need an unprecedented, systematic attack on gun violence, in my estimation. The gun industry takes aggressive steps to protect guns, and this is about, with the governor's support, now taking steps to protect people. In conclusion, Mark Barden came to New Jersey on April 30th, 2013, only months after the Sandy Hook shootings, and he gave a wristband in honor of his son Daniel. He gave me a picture of Daniel with his little soccer uniform running around, and a copy of his first grade school picture. And although I saw great sadness in Mark and his wife Jackie's faces that day, I saw great resolve as well. And I have to say, because of your advocacy, because of the Congresswoman's advocacy, because of Mark's advocacy, because of the governor's work in making this a top issue, because of the work of the men and women in this room, I believe, and I believe there's vast agreement in this, the attitudes are changing, I believe support is growing, and I believe momentum is clearly mounting to take on gun violence. Thank you, Governor, for this amazing opportunity. My goal is to succeed and bring honor to your administration. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. Hard to know what to say after that. We started late, but I still want to give folks a shot to take a couple of questions. Michael, I won't break my streak. I'll let Bill speak to this, but Bill's okay.
Yes, Michael. So this is, as Mark said, a public-private partnership. So I'll be representing as senior advisor to the governor in a private capacity. You covered redistricting. This is like when I left Gibbons, started my own law practice to represent the New Jersey legislature. I'll be representing the state in this capacity. I will be staying on with Horizon as a consultant, as a non-lobbying consultant, but I am leaving as senior vice president of Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield to accept this position.
And as Governor, as you create this position, is there a new commission or task force or anything that goes with that, or is this Bill joining your team?
This is Bill joining our team, at least for the first couple of months, on a pro bono basis, and working with the resources that we already have in place in government. And as you heard, I mean, it's a whole of government approach, which we like. A good dose of it will be looking in the mirror in New Jersey to see what we need to tune up, whether it's legislation or more executive orders or regulations. It's also going to be a heavy dose of working with the States for Gun Safety Coalition The Congresswoman had to leave, but we're also going to not limit ourselves to just state action and look to see what we can do to contribute to a more positive momentum in Washington. Please.
Can you give us an idea of what your next steps will be and what you'll see? I mean, it sounds like it's going to be pretty aggressive, whatever.
Yeah,
Details.
I'll give you a couple of thoughts, and Bill and or Mark should jump in. Number one, I think there's going to be a tire kicking period here. Bill already knows this area exceedingly well. That's the reason he's standing with us and doing this today, but sort of getting an assessment as to where we are versus where we need to be or want to be. By the way, we talk a lot in other policy areas about ripping ideas off from other states or other countries. As we've looked at it, and we're not spiking the football, so we're always open to smarter elements of policy or legislation that Lou's been so important in leading. New Jersey is toward the head of the class on the gun safety stuff. We don't want to take that for granted. We want to get better. I mentioned in passing that there's a working level meeting of the states for gun safety here in Trenton, I believe on Wednesday.
Yes, that's correct.
And that's clearly that coalition and getting the most out of that, whether that's gun safety research, which we're proud to have some money in our budget and we want to do on a multi-state basis, sharing of intelligence and information across those states. So it's a whole range of things. Please.
Retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is to become the next head of the NRA. I was wondering whether Commander Kelly or Congresswoman Giffords has comment on that.
I know I don't, so I'll ask.
I just got that news like while I was standing up here. My phone buzzed, and I looked at it, and it was a text from my brother. And he said, Ollie North is going to be the the president. You got to understand something about the way the National Rifle Association works. President of the NRA is pretty much a symbolic role. The NRA is run by its executive vice president, which is Wayne LaPierre, who manages the day-to-day operations of that organization. So I would say Ollie North is a well-known figure in our history. I certainly respect his service to the United States Marine Corps and to our country, but his role at that organization is probably going to be whatever he decides to make of it. It's one of those things that's more symbolic than anything else.
Well said. Please.
Over the weekend that you're planning to sign the film tax credit bill. Generally, you've been critical of these tax breaks for large companies because it starves the state of
Yep.
revenue. Why then is this tax credit? Are you supporting that, especially since OLS predicts that it's going to have a net negative fiscal impact?
So I'm glad you asked. Again, I probably came close to violating, don't speak about a particular piece of legislation, but I was at the Montclair Film Festival in the People's Republic of Montclair, and I couldn't resist. We've talked all throughout the campaign. I think you've heard us say this in transition and in government. This is the sort of tax credit that we actually like. It's fast-hitting. It grows our pride as a state. Hey, they filmed X in my town or on my street. It produces, particularly the film and TV piece of this, good union jobs, which we need more of. It's got great tentacles into the broader community, so diners do better, local shops of all sorts of sizes do better. We like it. It checks a lot of different boxes. Somebody over here, please.
Senator Sweeney came out today and said he's called a hearing on the videotapes that came out of the NJEA.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Do you support that, and what was your reaction to the tapes?
Well, I just read this coming down, so I don't blame him. First of all, I had two reactions. One is this Veritas that did this guy O'Keefe? So this guy's, on the one hand, this guy's very famous for selective editing. So I'd like to see the whole tape. On the other hand, if it's true, it's completely unforgivable and unacceptable, what was said on that. Please.
Governor, as a follow-up to that last question,
Senator President Sweeney said he is going to look into this. Do you support that kind of an effort? I mean, how thoroughly should we look at this whole issue of endangering kids?
Well, as a general matter, should we look at anything that endangers kids? Absolutely, 1,000%. That's an easy one. The particulars of this, I actually have not seen the film. I've read what was said in it. Pretty unacceptable. But again, this guy's a notorious selective editor, and so I just want to make sure. I'd like to see the tape unedited, but it's pretty unappetizing and unacceptable stuff. Please.
Governor, regarding marijuana, some of the concerns you've heard from lawmakers in particular.
Did Charlie put you up to this question?
He did, but it is related to his column today. Some of the concerns you've heard from legislators is about what happens to all the people who've been convicted
Yeah.
of low-level marijuana crimes. Are you considering wide sweeping pardons, and would you do that before enacting a law to legalize?
I don't know about timing and wide sweeping pardons. I'd like to get that defined as to a more specific question. But if all we do on a Monday is change the game, particularly given the racial inequities in low-end drug crime, which again, coming back to putting all the noise aside, is the principal driving factor here, the social justice factor. If all we do is reset the table on Monday and we ignore what happened up until Friday, I think we will not have done our job. So the answer is we have to be open-minded to that. Please, Matt.
You mentioned pro bono in the first 60 days and then with the resources we have. So does that mean hourly billing? And can you give us an idea of like what sort of rates we're talking about here?
I think we've shown our distaste for the hourly billing side of things. Nancy, don't get mad at me. So I don't envision it would be that way. I mean, with the resources we already have in place in government. Please.
Governor, will part of this effort take a look at the current law's application? In the previous administration, there were a number of pardons by the governor because of how the law was applied to the law-abiding citizens. You talked about
Yep.
balancing the constitutional rights.
Yeah, I'll ask Bill to come in here. The answer is generally yes, but I'll ask Bill to come in and put a little bit more color on that.
In terms of the governor's pardon power, I would serve at the direction of the governor and the chief counsel with respect to any review as it relates to firearms. That is not part of the initial wave of what the governor and the chief.
There are instances where law-abiding citizens, say from Morrisville, come over and they're instantly violating the law either of ignorance or they forgot. I mean, how do you deal with that?
So I was chief counsel in 2009 under Governor Corzine, and exercise of pardon power and clemency is a very, very serious exercise, very fact sensitive. It's generally not a good practice for a political interest to substitute the interest of a court determination. But that said, I serve at the direction of the governor, the chief counsel, and the attorney general, and if there are appropriate cases they want me to review, I certainly will.
I think we're going to be pretty much in the category, there's a neon sign, at least conceptually on the border. This is the way it is in New Jersey, whether you like it or not. Your dog didn't eat your homework, that's the way it is. Real quick, 1 and 2, we're done, please.
Governor, the 501c4 nonprofit associated with you, New Direction New Jersey, has said that they would disclose their donors, and they have yet to do so. Will you call on them to do so immediately?
I take them at their word, I'm sure they will. I'm not sure on the timing, but I'm sure they will. I don't want to speak for them, but I'm confident they will. Charlie?
Just on that question, timing to Ryan's question.
Yeah.
Are you precluding the possibility of maybe issuing some executive action before the bill is done, or as?
No, I'm not precluding that, but I just was making the point to Ryan that I haven't really thought through the timing and the sequencing. So I would say we're precluding nothing at the moment. Okay, one more, we'll go.
Interest of openness about Brennan Gill and that organization opening up, disclosing their donors. Would you open up and disclose donors during your inaugural committee, specifically in light of reporting about how charities were making donations?
Yeah, I only skimmed Matt's story, and the fact that Matt's over there waving his hand. We believe, based on prior precedent and also based on the amount of lawyers who looked at this and the fact, I think in his story, that ELEC also opined that we were in a good place. I think we did a good job. The team did a good job of complying and doing things the right way, which I'm proud of. I want to thank everybody for coming today, particularly Mark and Gabby. I want to salute and thank Bill for his service, to all the distinguished folks who are serving or have served. It was mentioned that Governor Florio won the Profiles in Courage Award. We were together at the Regional Plan Association in New York last week, and 700 people, I'm sure, from all sorts of political parties, and I sort of ad-libbed. Governor Florio introduced me, and I mentioned that he got that award based on the assault weapons ban, and the place erupted. So whether it's because of Mark, God bless it, in the name of Daniel and the work that you've been so doggedly doing, or whether it's in the name of the victims in Parkland, or whatever it is, at long last, please God, we're getting to a better, safer place. And to all the advocates, as always, thank you for being here. God bless you all. Thank you, Mark, so much. Thank you, everybody. It's always good. Jesus.